Now that the students have completed their performance, so they've had opening night and closing night, and they're really excited and really proud of themselves, and you are too, it is time for our students to go through what I call a performance reflection. This is an opportunity for students to think critically about their performance, assessing their strengths and their weaknesses. And they go through this process in order to figure out what is it that they did well that they would need to continue do for another performance, or what are the things that they need to work on and improve on for their next performance, or just for their growth as an artist overall. So here's some questions the actor should ask him or herself. Here are some questions the actor should ask themselves. First question: what was successful? What made it successful? So, really thinking about the performance, really thinking about their characterization, their interaction with the other actors on stage, thinking about the audience response and reaction to the performance. So, what are those things that I think I did successful in this performance as far as my process and the performance for the audience, the live performance? What went successful? And if I was going to do another performance, what are those things I need to replicate for that? Also, thinking about what can I improve? How can I improve? Maybe some students were really good at memorizing their lines. They made a few strong acting choices, but they need to work better at connecting to the character and really work on listening and responding, or they need to focus more on the pacing of the scene and maintaining that and thinking about how they can create tension. What are some small nuances of the character that they can express, whether it's through movement, through gesture, facial expression? So, really have them think about, again, what was successful, what needs to improve, and how can I improve? So, there are questions that the student should ask themselves during the process. So, this is a self reflection that they will do continuously throughout the rehearsal process, throughout every class period, as they're working on the scene, as well as questions that they can ask themselves when they rehearse outside of class. So here are 4 questions that I've come up with. First, at the end of each class period, I would have the students comment on their effective use of class time. So just a brief summary of what they did in class. Did they accomplish the goals that they set for themselves at the beginning of the class period? Which, again, I usually have my students meet in what I call a production circle, and we discuss or have them journal as far as what things that they'd like to work on for today. And then at the end of the class period, when we meet again, they sit in a circle and just complete these reflection again. Did I accomplish my goals that I set out for this class period? Did I effectively use the class time? Number 2, they would comment on the process work of each person that they worked with today. So, just their scene partner, was that person reliable? Was their scene partner enthusiastic, supportive, prepared, and creative? And this is a good notation for me. Sometimes I'm not able to sit in every group, especially if they're working in small groups on scenes or monologues. I'm not able to be there. So this just allows me to get an insight on how well they work together as a group. Number 3, describe the highlight of the rehearsal today. Did you have any aha moments or any major moments of discovery for your character? And this is just an opportunity for them to write that down. Sometimes actors have those moments of discovery during their rehearsal, whether it's about the character or how to say this line, and they forget about it, come back next rehearsal, next class period, and we're now back at square one. So just a moment for them to reflect on that. Number 4, describe the things you struggled with today. What do you think you can improve on for next rehearsal? So for some students, maybe they're working on memorization, Maybe they're working on the blocking, on the movement, emotional connection, finding the physicality, so on and so forth. So it allows them to identify those things that they really struggled with, and then sort of come up with an outline of what they need to do in order to improve on. And that allows me to know what I can assist them with during the next class period, as far as working on the scene, the monologue, or just throughout the rehearsal process. Now, here are some questions that they respond to, reflection questions after their performance. So, number one, were you nervous at any time during the performance? How did you deal with that? Were you able to use that extra energy to push you through the performance? Did that extra energy serve as a distraction for you and threw you off? Made you forget your lines and your blocking? Um, or were you able to channel that energy into the performance? Number two, they comment on each of the following aspects of the performance. So they make comments on memorization, energy, concentration, characterization, blocking, pacing, volume, vocal expression, and movement. And they would list each of these and just sort of make small comments about each of those aspects. Number three, what are you most proud of about your performance? And I find this really important for students, especially young actors. Sometimes they can be very critical of themselves. So identifying, regardless of the outcome of the performance, what is it they're most proud of? For some students, it's just getting out there and actually doing it and getting in front of a large audience, or even just performing for your class. That is a moment worth celebrating. So having the students identify that and knowing that for themselves is always great. Number four, describe one thing you would work on in order to improve your performance. So if you had to do this again, what are those things that you would do differently and you'd improve on? The self reflection process, as far as it comes to performance, is great, not just for the students, but also for you as a director or as the teacher, the instructor for the class. It allows you to identify your strength as a director, how you can better assist your students to improve, how you can better assist your students in connecting to these characters and building those acting skills. This is important for your sixth graders, seventh, and eighth graders. And it's also important for young actors to learn how to assess their performance and assess their own individual growth, and finding ways to continuously improve. If you have any questions or comments or ideas on how you work with your students after the performance, any post performance traditions that you have for your students to encourage them and keep them motivated and let them feel proud of their performance and finding new ways to grow, please feel free to share those with me. You can reach out to me using the Godot Community Theater Discussion Board. And again, thank you for listening. You can follow us on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're on YouTube. Please stay in touch and thank you for listening. Bye bye.